Alright, here is my most recent tier list, alright? You got Garnet and B. Then you got LeBron, Raindog, Harley, Shaggy. Then we had Finn, Taz, Jake, Arya, Gizmo, Tom, Batman. Then we had Giant, Steven, Morty, Wonder Woman, Soups. And lastly, we have Velma and Bugs at the top. One thing that's weird, I haven't seen a lot of Giants recently. I don't know if I'm the only one, but I really haven't seen a lot of Giants. But immediately, we gotta move Bugs down. I think Bugs is hella human nowadays. If he is a top tier, he's a very healthy top tier. I think the nerfs have kind of caught up to him, but one thing, I just think a lot of current characters are really strong. One of those characters being Velma. Velma was really strong last patch. I don't think her nerfs this patch will change much for her. I think Velma is a very meta-defining character in 2s. I don't think, and this has kept happening, I don't think this tier is as far away from this tier as it used to be on previous patches. Like, this is just like the top of this tier, honestly. The characters that I think belong in this tier, though, personally, Wonder Woman. I think Wonder Woman is crazy on like every team comp. I think Morty is pretty dang ridiculous. I've seen Gizmo doing atrocities that just should not, I guess just does exist, but it's just crazy. And to me, I would say these guys are probably the top 4. If anything, I think these two might be able to work on more teams than these two. Like, I don't think a Gizmo Morty is gonna go crazy, you know? But overall, I think when these characters are on good teams, I think these characters are just very strong characters overall. Velma doing typical Velma stuff, really good backline. Wonder Woman makes a lot of characters significantly more safe. She has amazing attacks. She's really fast, really tanky, and, you know, typical armor, right? Armor is just really good. Morty, I feel like his hitboxes are really good this patch. Grenades are really good. Charge guns really good. You know, Morty has a lot going for him. And Gizmo, attached to Gizmo is super solid. Gizmo's attacks aren't even like... Gizmo's not a great boxer, but Gizmo's not terrible at it. And Gizmo got nothing but buffs last patch, you know? So I would say these 4 characters are pretty insane. I personally would not move up any other characters to the top 4. But I don't think the top 4 is that, like, crazy ahead of the rest of the cast. At least the S characters. But I think they're good in a vast majority of teams. Biggest thing being, again, Bugs moving down. I think things are just getting harder for Bugs. I think the pacing of the game is getting really fast too. And, you know, it's hard. It's hard. Bugs controlling the screen as much as he used to doesn't feel like it matters as much anymore. Superman got a lot of nerfs this patch. If I was a betting man, I would say Superman is still at this tier. He still has really strong horizontal kill power, decent vertical threat, but he just is a little worse at cheesing you. But I don't think the cheese was all he had. You know, I don't think the cheese was all he had. Steven has been my personal pick for this tier. And low-key, I think I might be forced to move Steven down. And a big part of that is characters that can control a lot of the screen, or, you know, just have big hitboxes, are becoming increasingly more prevalent. And I don't know how much Steven can keep up. It's hard for Steven to get in on those characters. And, you know, I'd like for there to be a little more for Steven. I feel like he still helps out a lot, but you know, let's move him down. And Giant, I haven't seen a lot of Giant recently, and I think it might just be there's a lot of other buffed or new characters that are really good, and maybe people just got tired of Giant. I don't think Giant would be that much worse. I'm going to keep him in the same tier. However, I wouldn't be surprised if Giant dropped off either. So A+. I don't think any of these characters moved up except for Jake. I think Jake has been showing himself to actually be a really good character in the meta. Even after receiving many nerfs, Jake just has really good neutral, probably the best disadvantage in the game, with great recovery, great vertical disadvantage due to house, good solid kill options. You know, Jake has actually just been getting better and better. And I gotta say, like, I was very wrong about this character. You know, Jake is such a strong character. And Jake has the benefit of having really high weight. So it's a very durable character with a really strong neutral. And I just, you know, I can't believe it. Jake is a top tier. It's ridiculous. I don't think out of these others, I don't actually know if I would move Tom and Jerry up. I'll be honest. It's a tough one. I think they can exist in the top tier space. Triple Dynamite nerf kind of sucks. They do have one thing about the projectile characters here is that you can take the Reflect projectile block perk, and that perk can do wonders against these characters. Tom's still really light, but you know, even without Triple Dynamite being as strong as it used to be, Tom regaining his normals does give him good opportunities to fight against these characters. Jerry's Slingshot, with the teammate being able to pick him up, returns to being one of the best moves in the game. And I couldn't see him any lower than A+. He does his job really well, and you know, he can fit into a lot of teams. So I think majority of the characters in A+ over here would stay the same. But one character I kind of forgot to mention, who I think is on S tier, Rick. Rick. It's been 2 days, and I'm really happy with how Rick turned out. The biggest thing, Rick has simple, strong moves. He has complicated options that he can also learn. So he has a strong skill floor, and he can have an even higher skill ceiling. I wouldn't say he's clearly S+. I'm not going to jump the gun because it's been 2 days. You haven't gone through the full evolution of whether this character is, how good he is, and then how much you can counterplay the stuff. But the best thing about Rick, he has good normals, he has decent space control. Can be a little hard to set some things up, but in reality, you know, you don't have to set things up because you can fight. And that's a really big thing when it comes to like some of these characters. If you can't fight after like setting things up, it doesn't help very much, you know. And Rick has a really strong side attack on the ground, side attack in the air, up special on both ground and air. So he has the tools to fight, and then he has the polymorph thing, which is pretty crazy. So we're gonna have to see where Rick goes. I don't really see him going down. I can see him going up, but I don't think he's earned his right to be S+ yet. I don't think he's earned his right to be S+ yet. Down here, actually, who do we got? Loki. I'm gonna have to do this. Add a row below. Because, you know what? I'm lying. I haven't seen much of Garnet post-patch. I don't think her nerfs really changed a lot about her. But the thing here, I think Shaggy and Harley can be in this tier. I think Shaggy and Harley have been a lot better as time's gone on. Harley, these characters just have good frame data, so they can exist pretty well in a 2's environment. But, you know, of course, when you fight like really, really strong teams, it becomes a lot more difficult. But I don't feel like Shaggy and Harley, to me, have the exact same strengths as, I guess not strengths, weaknesses as like Rain Dog and LeBron. Hopefully I can see more of LeBron this patch. Same thing with Garnet, as they both got buffed an okay amount, but time will have to tell. I think more so the bottom part of this tier list kind of stays the same. And then this upper part has been changing pretty drastically. One thing that I think is really cool is Rick and Morty are both, you know, pretty top tier threats. And I just think that's cool. As a Rick and Morty fan, I think that's cool. So yeah, this is my current thoughts on the game as of Rick getting added to the game, Rick patch. We'll see if things change in the future. Even during the patch, I'm sure my opinions will change. And end of the day, you don't gotta agree with me. This is simply my opinion, and you know, we'll just see where it goes from here. Appreciate you guys hanging out.